Hello and welcome to a different kind of video. I like trying new things, and this is something I've been mulling over for a long time now, and definitely spurred on by my good friend Graham over at Manv Film, who does these for all the boutique labels, I think, and also inspired by Daisuke Beppu, who does this for the Criterion Collection. I'm basically going to be doing a monthly video series just talking about the new releases and the announcements from Eureka. Mostly for my love of being a collector of the Masters of Cinema collection itself, but also the other releases that Eureka Entertainment in the UK put out as well. I don't know, I feel like it'd be nice to feel more current with some of the things that I buy, because for anyone who doesn't know at this point, I have a complete collection of the MOC line, and it's been a joy of mine over the past 8 years, trying to complete the full collection and then now maintaining the full collection, which means buying the new ones as and when they come out. But I feel like I just buy them and pop them on the shelf, and that's about the extent of it, which is fine. I certainly have no collector's guilt over that, because for me, knowing I have like something I can just grab off the shelf, and take a look at, and it's something that might really surprise me and wow me, or take me on a different journey than I was expecting. And it's happened so many times now that I really do feel like the collection has justified itself. So I'm fine with buying the new titles and putting them on the shelf for a rainy day, but I want to kind of get into the conversation more with people who might be doing the same thing and collecting these titles as and when they come out, as well as the other releases from Eureka as well, which I'm kind of a big fan of. Don't collect them as much as the MOC line, which I kind of focus on pretty much. That's my main focus as a collector, is to make sure now I keep up with these releases. But let's get into it. It is currently the end of September 2022, and I'm going to cover in this video the announcement / releases we can expect for October and November. November's a pretty light month, so I figured I'd do them both in one video. And then from December, I'll try and do them monthly. Well, that'll be literally this week, because they're announcing their December lineup on Thursday. I'm filming this on a Tuesday. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'll pull up the releases on my phone and give you some visual kind of peppering of things over there, and you'll have some kind of visual reference. That's the word I was looking for. I'll leave that bollocks in for free. So the first release, I think this was delayed from like August or September. I'm not sure why, although I can see probably why looking at the extras list, because holy shit. This is a Eureka. I'm not sure if they call them Eureka Classics anymore, or if it's just a Eureka release, but they're doing a lot of martial arts Hong Kong stuff over the past few years now. I'd be intrigued to go back and find where it started. I feel like it was the Jackie Chan stuff with the Police Story box set. I'm sure they've done stuff before that, but that seemed to really kickstart. Anyway, that's all the conversation. So we have on October 3rd, 2022, Angela Mao, Hapkido and Lady Whirlwind, 2 films. And they have, like, I think it's 87 commentaries on this Blu-ray release. It's outrageous. We'll go through the extras in a second, but I have no knowledge of Angela Mao, if that's even how you pronounce her name. But I'm really intrigued by this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. You got to pick and choose your battles with these things, but I'm always drawn to these kind of female-led martial arts movies. I could kind of be all like, well, it's about time. I could say it's all about, the strong female characters, but it's just fucking cool to see women be badasses and usually kick men's asses in these kinds of films. It's just fun. But also, going back to stuff like Lady Snowblood, which I love, and then seeing how that influenced Kill Bill, which is fantastic. And again, Uma Thurman, she's fucking badass. So I like seeing the earlier versions of that. And these are films of the 1970s. So, and that was kind of the early 1970s were pretty huge for kind of martial arts movies, after a certain Bruce Lee kind of made his mark on the world. So we have these two films. One of them stars Sammo Hung, which is a major draw to me because I love Sammo Hung. I think he's fantastic. What a character, what a physical presence. Yeah, we get these two films. Perhaps the most iconic film it says here is Lady Whirlwind. I'm not even going to look at the plots of these in case I do get it, because I really want to watch them, I think. But I'm also really sold on the actual Blu-ray itself. 2K restorations for both films. The first time Lady Whirlwind has been ever been available in the UK, and both films are making their debut on Blu-ray as well. Limited edition slipcover, as you can expect with a lot of the stuff that they do, including a reversible poster featuring the original theatrical poster artwork. This is a 2,000 copies limited edition. So for Hapkido, you get the original mono Mandarin and two variations of the classic English dub. Then there's a newer dub created for the film's original DVD release. Lady Whirlwind has original Mandarin and English options, and there are newly translated subtitles for this release. Hapkido has two new feature. I mean, they're all new. These are all recorded for this release. So there are two audio commentaries for Hapkido with Frank Jiang and Michael Worth, and then the second is with Frank Jiang again and martial artist and actor Robert Bobby Samuels. I hope that's how you pronounce Frank Jiang's name. And he must be racking up like an all-time audio commentary record, because he's on so many releases across many different boutique labels over the past couple of years. You always see his name pop up. I need to really listen to one of his comments, because it feels like he must be like worth bringing back over and over again. Lady Whirlwind has a commentary with Frank Jiang and Michael Worth, and then same again with Frank Jiang and Robert Samuels. And then finally, a third audio commentary for Lady Whirlwind by film journalist and author Sam Dahan, if that's how you pronounce it. Then, this is a big one for me, a brand new interview with Angela Mao filmed in 2022. I love to see it. I was just talking about how Eureka doesn't often film new interviews with like cast members in some of their films, so the films that they release. That's a really cool one. And then there's an archival interview with Angela Mao, also with Kato Wong. Archival interviews with Sammo Hung and Yuen Bao, and alternate opening credits to Hapkido, selection of trailers and TV spots, stills galleries, a partridge in a pear tree. There's so much going on. Reversible sleeve with different artwork, the original Hong Kong poster, and a limited edition collector's booklet featuring new writing by James Oliver. Like, there's a lot going on in this release, and suddenly $28.99 doesn't seem like it's as expensive as I originally thought when I looked at the price for it. But yeah, so that's coming the 3rd of October. I'm tempted by this one. Next, we have 3 titles coming on the 17th of October 2022, and this is where the real horror kind of fans are going to get fed fully with these 3 releases. We have a Universal monster movie, kind of. We have a classic 1930s horror tale, and then we have this kind of, not a box set, but kind of a collection of 3 films here from one of the all-time great monster movie actors, Boris Karloff. So this is Maniacal Mayhem, Boris Karloff, The Invisible Ray, Black Friday, and The Strange Door are included in this release from 1936, 1940, and 1951. So you get 2 discs, which kind of split the tales of terror from the vaults of Universal Pictures, all starring the iconic Boris Karloff. In The Invisible Ray, we have Bela Lugosi as well. And the one that really caught my attention was The Strange Door, which also features Charles Laughton, who is just, I mean, what an actor, you know. So I have no familiarity with any of these films. Even Karloff himself, obviously the classic monster movies, you know, Frankenstein and The Mummy. Great. And I always kind of thought that, you know, wow, he was the Frankenstein guy, but no, I mean, he had range. I even liked the Black Cat with Bela Lugosi. That was an interesting film. I enjoyed seeing kind of Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff together more than I enjoyed the movie, I think. But yeah, so that kind of pulls me in a bit, the fact that we get to see Charles Laughton in one film, Bela Lugosi in the other. This is a limited edition with a slipcover, 2,000 copies. All films presented from 2K scans from original film elements. Brand new audio commentary on The Invisible Ray and Strange Door with author Stephen Jones and critic Kim Newman. And an audio commentary on Black Friday with Kevin Lyons and Jonathan Rigby. Also, some radio adaptations and stills galleries and trailers, and a limited edition collector's booklet featuring new writing on all 3 films, limited to the 2,000 copies. So I know they released one, was it last year maybe? Karloff at Columbia, which I didn't get, but yeah, any Karloff fans, that's certainly gonna fill another nice little gap there in the collection. Yeah, for me, it's, you know, probably not. But, you know, in an ideal world, you know, I'd be piling all of these things on my shelf. But it looks like a good one, especially for horror fans, perfect for October and stuff. But one of the kind of big re-releases, I would say, and probably a lot of people are glad this is even happening, is Vampyr. So this was released a month or 2 ago. I didn't even show it yet in a video. So we have this special edition here. This is the Spine 262, the hardbox kind of nice special edition of Carl Dreher's 1932 classic Vampyr, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And I think it's the same day for these 3 that I'm talking about, the 17th of October. The standard edition is coming out. So if you don't want to, or didn't want to, I think it's already out of print, get the fancy, you know, the fancy pants hardbox booklet edition, then you can buy just the regular old case, which still has all the great on-disc content, which I haven't even begun to dig into yet. I haven't begun to dig into yet. There you go. That's my tenses getting all flip-flopped. But this has got a new 2K restoration. There was some kind of discussion on the forums about whether this really was a new restoration, particularly compared to the Criterion. This was completed in 2020 after an extensive decade-long process, apparently. You get an audio commentary by Tony Raines, which is on the Criterion, and then an audio commentary with Guillermo del Toro, who's a huge fan of this film. Wasn't on the Criterion, not sure if it's exclusive to this release or not, but yeah, visual essay, video interview, Kim Newman. More video interviews. There's a documentary from 1966 about Carl Dreher. Deleted scenes, a short MOC documentary about Baron Nicholas D. Gunsberg, and yeah, it's again a lot, and it's a pretty Vampyr for me is I don't think it's the intent, but it feels to me like one of the best depictions of a dream in a movie. The whole film feels like an actual dream and a slight nightmare. One of those like eerie dreams. It's not quite a full-on nightmare, but it's kind of, there's a ghostly quality to the whole film, down to the way it looks and just the, I don't know, very eerie film. But the you know, the nice kind of collector's edition is cool. But I think a lot of people were relieved that they were releasing the standard, just you know, regular old edition of this. So that's cool for people who didn't get this one. So that is also coming out on the 17th of October. And then finally on that day, the big one for me, a Universal monster movie of sorts from 1923, I believe. We have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So this is starring the so-called Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney. And I'm so glad that they're releasing this, because I've been wanting to get this film for years. Almost 8 years now, I think. In fact, I think it came out in 2014. Flickr Alley put out a Blu-ray of this film. Ugly cover though. I never liked that cover, but it was always like $35. And I could just never justify the price. I always had it in the back burner, like I'll get it at some point when I got some extra money, but it was never made a priority. I always thought in the back of my head as well, like maybe Eureka will release it. Lo and behold, here we are, and it's fun. Now I think there's been a new restoration of the film from, I think there's a 4K kind of, yes, 4K restoration conducted by Universal Pictures and presented in 1080p on this release. Kino Lorber just put it out last year, so I'm assuming it's the same master that they're using for the transfer and stuff. But I did look at the extras on the Kino Lorber, and it's all new. on this Eureka release. They've done their own extras for this. So if you wanted everything, you'd probably have to get both, I guess. But the score is the same on both releases. So I haven't seen it. I do love Lon Chaney. I think Phantom of the Opera is one of my favorite silent films. I love his performance in that and just the visual of his character, and The Unknown is a pretty good one too. But this is one of the big ones for Lon Chaney that apparently kind of made him a huge star. So the extras we have, or at least I can say the music, was done by Nora Karl Rosenbaum and Laura Cartman. It's a limited edition with a slipcover, 2,000 units. Brand new commentary with author Stephen Jones and critic Kim Newman. Brand new interview with Kim Newman again on the many adaptations of Victor Hugo's novel, and finally an interview with his film historian Jonathan Rigby, along with a collector's booklet with a new essay, illustrated with archival imagery. I love this front cover. Even the cover on the main case is really a lot more striking than the weird kind of Flick Alley one, but I love that slipcover. That might be one of my favorite front images for an MOC release, I think. And this is going to be spine number 270. And did I already? Yeah, I already mentioned that it's 262 for Vampyr. So that's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I believe that is all of the October release. No, there's one more. There's another MOC release coming on the 24th of October. This is spine number 269 from 1932, The Most Dangerous Game. So this I know little about, but it's about a game hunter who survives a shipwreck, ends up on an island, and is being hunted. That's all I really want to read into it on this. And obviously with this being the massive cinema, I will be getting it sight unseen. But they make a big point in the write-up on the Eureka website to talk about how the sets used in this film were the same sets used for King Kong. So when King Kong was wrapped for the day, they'd go in with The Most Dangerous Game and film on those sets for the night. Now, I don't know whether they kind of dressed up those sets and then tore it down a bit to kind of make it a little bit different, or whether you can plainly see that they're on the King Kong sets. But that's an interesting time in film history, really. King Kong was like a game changer, you know, and the 30s in general for me are like an island that I briefly look at in the horizon, but more often than not it's in fog and I can't quite make it out. I've seen very little films from the 1930s, so you know, and I like kind of man being hunted, that kind of story. We know what that kind of film looks like in 2022. We know what that kind of film looks like in 1987. But in 1932, I'm not quite sure where what kind of form that would take. So I'm intrigued by the plot. This is a 2K restored scan, another limited edition slipcover, 2,000 copies. Not too many extras on this one, just 3. We have another audio commentary with Stephen Jones and Kim Newman, another interview with Kim Newman on the hunted human subgenre, and then a interview with film scholar Stephen Thrower and a collector's booklet with a new essay, and illustrated once again with archival imagery, so that's pretty good. Yeah, looking forward to this one quite a bit. The slipcover is an interesting one with kind of a map of the island, but it looks very vintage and stuff, which I quite like. And then the inside case looks like another kind of original poster, so quite a cool, different look for the artwork on this one. Looking forward to this one quite a bit. Moving on to November of 2022, just 2 releases. The first one is just a Eureka release. It's The Dead and the Deadly, which I love as a title. And this is a Sammo Hung movie. And I've gotten a few of them. I got Millionaire's Express and the, what's the other one? It's not the Mr. Is Mr. Vampyr even, I don't think it's even a Sammo Hung movie. There was another one, Encounters of the Spooky Kind. I haven't watched either of them yet. But I love Sammo Hung in the movies I've seen him in with Jackie Chan. Just such a great, expressive, and insanely talented guy. And it's his kind of backstory, like of his life, where him and Jackie grew up in the school and kind of being trained in martial arts and in kind of acting and stuff he had a brutal up, and he was you know, he didn't have the kind of pudgy, kind of slightly overweight kind of stature that he would have for his life when he was in school. But he had an accident and he was bedridden for a while, And after that, he kind of put on a bit of weight, and he was known for it then, you know. But anyways, this is going way off topic, but this is from 1982. And it's a horror, action, comedy, special effects extravaganza in the same vein as Mr. Vampire and Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Again, on the off chance that I might, you know, look into this one, even if it's later down the line, after the limited run is over. I'm not going to look too much into the plot. We have another limited edition slipcover, original Cantonese, mono audio, optional English dubbed audio, and newly translated subtitles. Would you believe it? An audio commentary with Frank Jang and Michael Worth, and a second audio commentary by action cinema experts Mike Leader and Arne Venema. Archival interview and audience Q&A with Sammo Hung, filmed in 2016, an original Hong Kong theatrical trailer, and a booklet featuring new writing by James Oliver, all extra subject to change on this one. So a nice array of commentaries, extras, and the commentaries I want to talk about briefly because they're doing a lot of them. Eureka are really pushing the commentaries. I think it's such a great resource for supplementary material because it doesn't take up too much space on the disc, and you can load it into the audio tracks and stuff. And if someone buys one of these releases and they love the film, Wikipedia is only going to tell you so much if you want to learn more about the making of the film or what has that actor done, because a lot of these films are foreign movies and you're not familiar with the actors, and usually these commentaries go into pretty exhaustive detail about a lot of the things that you're just not going to find anywhere else. So I think that they're a valuable resource in terms of just film history and kind of knowledge and stuff. But hopefully, I would imagine some of these are quite fun to listen to as well, and informative. And I don't listen to too many of them myself, these kind of historian commentaries, but there's been quite a few really good ones. One I absolutely love is on the Dr. Caligari disc. It's a fantastic commentary with lots of great detail. I forget who, he's on the tip of my tongue, the guy who did it. He's done a lot of really good ones, but I don't want to get it wrong. Anyway, so The Dead and the Deadly, in an ideal world, I'd probably get it, but probably going to skip that one. But it looks very good. I did actually look at the trailer, and there was some fun stuff in that. But finally, to round off this video, spine number 271 in the MOC collection. I'm so excited about this. Son of the White Mare. After more than a decade, probably, I'd have to say, we finally have another animated film in the collection. Holy shit. It's about fucking time. It only took, let me subtract 6 and 271. It only took 265 spine numbers to get there. But we finally got another animated film in the collection. This is a, what year did this film come out? Because there's a number of films presented on the actual, I think it's from 1981. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say it's from 1981. The Son of the White Mare. It's meant to be a fairly kind of psychedelic film, from what I've heard and seen. I was so excited to see that they were putting out an animated film. I almost didn't even care what it was, but I would say I'm probably, it's a bold statement, I'm probably the biggest animation fan in the world who has absolutely no knowledge on the history of animation or much. Like I love animated films so much, but I'm not very well versed in the ins and outs and the history and different countries and all that kind of stuff. My kind of area of quasi expertise is typically relegated to Studio Ghibli and Pixar, maybe. That's about it. Anyway, I'm a huge enthusiast of animated films. I love that form of storytelling visually. And this comes from a 4K restoration conducted in 2019. And I think it was like the first full-length film from its country, perhaps. I'm not sure if I just imagined that, maybe. It's a Hungarian film. Let me just check here, because I'm sure I read something. Yes, it is the first ever Hungarian animated feature film. Oh, no. It isn't. I got that wrong. But it includes, as an extra, the first ever Hungarian animated feature film from 1973 called Johnny Corncob, as well as a selection of his short films. So what this release is doing, I'll go through the extras first. So it's 1080p presentation from a 4K restoration. We get the limited edition slipcover. We get the Johnny Corncob from 1973, the first ever Hungarian feature animated film, which is also in 1080p from a 4K digital restoration approved by the director as well. Sisyphus, a short film. The Struggle, another short film. Dreams on Wings, another short film created as a commercial for Air India. An extensive interview with the director Marcel Yankovic's, filmed in 2020. The making of Johnny Corncob, the director talks, a featurette, and a collector's booklet. This is loaded with special features, but for me, what's really great is that you have this director Marcel Yankovic, who I believe passed away very recently. So it's like it seemed like in his last years he was getting his films restored in 4K and doing these talks and stuff. And now his work is going to be preserved in a release like this, which I think is fantastic. And it only reminds me of the only other animated film in the MOC line, which is La Planète Sauvage, Fantastic Planet by René Laloux, which is a phenomenal film in its own right. And this is one of my favorite Blu-rays in the entire MOC collection, because you have this phenomenal, Blu-ray with this incredible film. But then you have, I think there's five of Laloux's short films. And some of them are strange oddities. Some of them are just brilliant. My favorite is How Wang Fo Was Saved from 1987. If you've got this Blu-ray and you haven't dove into the extras yet, check out How Wang Fo Was Saved. What an incredible little story. I love it. It's just a brilliant little short film. But I just love the idea of like, okay, here's a feature film from an animation director, and here's a bunch of his short films that kind of show you the steps that they took to get to, the kind of the main film that you're holding in your hands. Like, I just love, in general, kind of putting in those small pieces of a filmmaker's journey onto a Blu-ray release. It's the best supplement, I think. You can do documentaries and featurettes and commentaries, but proof is in the pudding. And just showing the earlier works of some of these directors, if they have them, is incredible. Like, I just love that as an extra feature. So I couldn't be more excited for this this return to animation from MOC, Son of the White Mare. And I love that front artwork, and I also love the cover on the case as well. So Son of the White Mare and other early works by Marcel Yankovic. Hopefully I'm not butchering the name. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making this video. You'll be seeing me again, because on Thursday, 29th of September 2022, we'll be getting the December releases announced. And they've kind of confirmed what they already are with teasers on Twitter. So I'm excited about one of them, intrigued by the other, and then the other one is, it seems like we're going to get we're definitely getting the announcement that there's going to be the first ever 4K release in the MOC range, which is an existing film in the collection. It would have been nice if it was a new one, but I'm really excited by what film it is and what era it kind of represents. I've got a lot of interest in that, so look forward to my video on Thursday or Friday going over those announcements and those new releases. But let me know if you're thinking of getting any of the ones from October or November. If you collect the MOC line in general, that's the main reason I want to do this, is to get more conversations going, more comments. Let's get chatting about these films from the Eureka line and the MOC line. Any comments you have, criticisms, or anything you can praise. Like, I just would be intrigued to hear more, because I feel like, I collect these things a lot. And as I said, I got no guilt about not getting around to a lot of them, because I know I will at some point. And I just love the thrill of having so many of these unwatched on my shelf. But it's almost like, I've got like 150 amazing potential films in my back pocket. But I do feel like I just buy the new ones, put them away, and I don't really talk about them, don't really watch them immediately. And I want to do that. I want to just start watching them as they come in and talking about them with you guys, maybe, if you're getting the same thing. So hopefully I can kind of push forward a bit more of an immediacy with talking about the Masters of Cinema collection, because it's, I've been talking about this collection for almost a decade on my channel, actually longer. I think I first mentioned one of their releases in 2012, so just over 10 years. It was like early 2012. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.